The COVID-19 pandemic is almost certainly the most challenging time our staff will ever face in their professional career. Dealing with an unknown illness, working under ever-changing guidelines, having real fear of contracting the disease, and having to try and help so many desperately ill patients has and will leave its toll on many of us. It's thus absolutely vital that we help each other, and if you need help, to seek it. It is okay not to be okay.
A lot of us had been expecting it to come because, we'd seen what had happened in China, in Italy, and things like that. So it was like, psychologically, it was a matter of like when, not if. But that didn't detract from the fact that, suddenly it was here and we weren't quite prepared.
It was, the only way to describe the first wave was relentless. It was just every day. There was no respite from the beginning of the shift to the end. Night and day, it was the same. You don't get to walk away. You don't get to say I'm tired. You don't get to say I'm busy. You don't get to say I'm fed up of this, because you know that your patients are relying on you. So you have no choice but just to keep going.
I live with people who are vulnerable. So the sacrifice I made was moving away and living in a hotel hospital accommodation for the length of that pandemic, which was very socially isolating at a time when, it was probably most difficult. I came to work, did my work, went to the hotel and kind of just sat there by myself. It meant you didn't really have people to talk to about it after you got home. So you'd do like 5 night shifts in a row and there wasn't much time to decompress at the end of it.
Pre-peak, you had a sense of job satisfaction because you got to know the families, and for that time, be it 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, they became part of your family and you became part of theirs, and you learned things about your patient, their names, their favorite football team, what they like to eat, their favorite music, all of these things. And in the peak, you just didn't know your patients because you were so focused on just trying to keep them alive.
I think the volume of patients was really quite overwhelming. We had so many non-invasive ventilated patients, whereas normally we would see one of those patients maybe once in 6 months, and suddenly we had a ward full of them.
By far the hardest bit was sort of the emotional part of it when talking to families who couldn't come in to visit their relatives. Not everybody, not all the doctors and all the nurses have enough time necessary to address all the emotional concerns of a patient. However, we are aware that they're having them, and it's a bit distressing to see somebody going through that and not being able to help in the way a family could, for instance.
I know the phrase is there was light at the end of the tunnel, but we couldn't see the light. The light was when the door opened and the next shift arrived. That was it. Because we had so many people die and they were so sick, you couldn't see any light because you just would look around and think, well, no one's getting out of here alive.
It's quite difficult watching somebody just slowly decrease their oxygen saturations until you have to hand it over to somebody else. And I would say it was a frustration a lot of doctors felt at that point, was the fact that the interventions we had then weren't something we could improve them with or control. It was essentially just waiting for them, as I say, to get better by themselves.
All the love and support from the public really helped us get through those hard times. We got an unbelievable amount of food. There was just food everywhere. So many packed lunches, boxes of goodies, sweets and cakes, and the public was unbelievably kind. That really helped lift our spirits a lot. It made us feel appreciated. It made us feel like what we were doing wasn't going unnoticed.
If you're having a bad day, say it. Don't bring it home. Don't bring it home, because the people you work with understand. They understand far more then you may realise. So if you're having a bad day, find your matron, find your band 7, find your buddy, and talk, because as we know, it's okay not to be okay.
Sharing your fears just makes them seem infinitely less scary. We will get through it together. It's not for one single person to hold the burden.